everybody. My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and as I'm sure you can already tell from the title of the video, I am here to once again talk about Fantastic Four, but this time in spoiler fashion. I had to do it, not only because of after seeing the movie, I knew that there were specific things in this film to fully explain why I gave it the rating that I gave and why I feel the way that I feel about it. I had to talk about, but also after seeing this uproar of negative reviews from critics. Rotten Tomatoes has it rated lower than Batman and Robin at the moment, and even Josh Trank, the director, posted on Twitter that this movie sucks. and more or less, that's what he said. Now, who knows? He could be saying this because he's seeing all of the negative responses, and so he's saving face and he's blaming Fox. Because that's what he did. He said it's Fox that changed the movie that he originally envisioned. Whether it's that or whether his movie really did get fucked with and that his version of the movie would have been better if he got to make it. Who really knows? Either way, whether it's that or this, him saying that on the day that the movie comes out is going to hurt the movie's box office, is going to hurt the perception of the film. But let's talk about this movie in spoiler fashion. In my original review, I said that the first hour and a half or so is origin. And it is, and that's what makes it boring. I know that if you look at Josh Trank, who says that he had a vision of this film and it got fucked with, I'm assuming that the fucked with part was that either stuff was taken out, because it feels that way, a lot feels like it's missing, or the end of this movie turns more comic booky, which wasn't what he was going for. So I get if some people like that earlier stuff, like the scientific experiments and seeing Reed Richards invent this machine and all of that. I know it's interesting. I did find it interesting, but I also found it boring. It's not that it was bad. I think it was the marketing of the film that adds to it. It doesn't help that we get so many superhero movies nowadays that when you think about a comic book superhero movie, this is what you almost want to see. The original trailer, the first trailer or teaser, pretty much told us what this movie was going to be. And I think people didn't like that, so then what did Fox do? The second and third trailer showed a lot more different stuff, a lot more superhero stuff, a lot more comic book stuff, a lot more Marvel stuff to make me think, oh, okay, this might actually be more like the Fantastic Four movie that I wanted to see. And then when you watch the movie, that's not what you get, at least not for the majority of the film. So that's why I was bored. That's why I was disinterested as much as I was. Now let's talk about some of the characters. Jamie Bell as the Thing. Again, he was one of the things that I liked the most. The things that I liked the most, ironically enough. I liked the CGI. I liked the way he looked. My only problem with him, really, was his voice. I think his voice sucked. His voice was awful. I don't know if that was more Jamie Bell's voice, and then they might have altered it a little bit, but it didn't sound like the Thing. When I hear the Thing talk, his voice is gruff, and it's like, it's clobbering time! Like, that's what he sounds like. Even at the end of the movie, when the Thing does say that, and it's in Jamie Bell's voice, it doesn't sound intimidating. It doesn't sound, scary at all. That's just how I picture the Thing sounding. It was also very dark with his character, how upset he was with his life, and I get that. His life probably sucks the most out of everybody. But again, there's no fun. You get such a dark, grim look at these characters, and that's not what you want. The Fantastic Four, I never think of them as super ultra realistic. I want to see this more fun. He can be depressed. He can have moments of being depressed, but when every single thing that comes out of his mouth is just depressing and there's no funness at all, who wants to sit and watch that? Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. He didn't really feel like Johnny Storm to me. And no, not because he's black. I'm sure people are going to say that. I didn't even mind that. I'm just talking about, he wasn't as cocky as I like. He wasn't as hanging out with different women all the time, a womanizer. Like, that's Johnny Storm. The most careless guy ever. I know he has the car accident, and I guess that's supposed to be, oh, see, he is like Johnny, he's reckless. But that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Especially Jeremy James talked about this in his review, and I couldn't agree more with his review. It echoes my thoughts and opinions of this movie. But he even mentioned how much their father, Johnny and Sue's father, how he brings Johnny into this project and experiment, how much that doesn't make any sense. Like, here's a guy who I guess he's okay at engineering. He's dabbled in it, but you're talking about a high-level facility like this. They don't have a more experienced engineer that's more suitable and capable to be a part of this experiment? Or you're just going to force-feed this character that's only really here because of the source material, and because he's Johnny Storm and he has to be here for all of this to work and make sense. Kate Mara as Sue Storm, I loved. She's the best part of this film. Writing, her performance, everything about her, I liked, I enjoyed. I liked how she used her powers more so than everyone else. Miles Teller as Reed Richards. So he did have some moments where I thought, like at the very end, he delivered this line about Dr. Doom, about to destroy the universe, and the way he delivered it felt really like he looked like he didn't give a shit. Like, no urgency in his voice at all. He just was kind of like, oh, okay, let me just read these lines really quick. But other than that, for the most part, he's fine. The part that I said in my review where I completely lost hope in him as a character was when, after the accident happens, he leaves the group at this lab. He leaves. He runs off. And then a year passes by. 1 year later. And I know Johnny Storm's father says that, oh, Reed was scared. He didn't know what was going on. But he left these people here. He left them. They try to say that Reed is out there and he's still keeping tabs on the thing and trying to find a cure. But the way how he runs off and leaves them there was just like, I couldn't like this character anymore after that. I couldn't get behind him. I couldn't think of him as a hero or a potential leader. How could they ever trust him as a leader? But at the end of the movie, it's like, oh yeah, he's the leader. Yeah, oh yeah, well, let's all become the Fantastic Four. Dr. Doom. This movie, I think, I agree that this movie was made to make us like the original Fantastic Four more. Now, I'm somebody who I have admitted that I like the original Fantastic Four. I especially love it after this movie, but I like those movies. I think they, there are things in the movie that's not either accurate or that could have been done better. Maybe not all of the writing is great. Maybe Jessica Alba isn't the best casted for that. And even Dr. Doom wasn't done all that well. But my God, at least he looked like fucking Dr. Doom. At least when he was in the suit, at least he was kind of cool. This movie, I didn't like the way he looked. I didn't, just because he had the metal skin grafted onto him with the hood. It looked rather weird. Rather weird. I did like the scene of him walking down the hallway and just sort of mentally killing those people, like the blood splatter on the wall. That was very dark, and that made him scary. But again, it's not even 10 minutes until after they defeat him. So you set up Dr. Doom for a couple of minutes to be this brute force of a villain, and then the Fantastic Four go to the other dimension where he is, and he claims to be his home now, and they beat him. They beat him so easily. That end battle, I did say that end battle was the closest this felt like a Fantastic Four movie, just because they were a team, they were working together, you saw them use their powers a little bit, but it was so quick and it was so easy to beat Doom that what were they trying to accomplish with this movie? What was it? Because the brand new fresh take on these characters did nothing for me. It honestly made me think of who was asking for this dark and serious take on the Fantastic Four. Who wanted this? I certainly didn't want it. Why do we have to retread the origin? I'm so sick of these characters' origins. I still stand behind my rating, the fact that I gave this a rental as a movie, but as a Fantastic Four movie, as a superhero movie, I gave it a fuck you. It still deserves that. I'm not changing my tune. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Now, if you've seen the movie or if you don't give a shit and you didn't care that I was spoiling it, what do you think? What's going to happen? What's the future of the Fantastic Four now? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.